Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's your favorite girl Favor. If today is your first time of coming across my YouTube channel, thank you so much for stopping by. On this YouTube channel, we learn how to turn void materials into a beautiful piece. So guys, for today's tutorial, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how I cut and sew this beautiful cowl neck dress with a snatch waist. Now this cowl neck dress does not require the slash and spread method. This is a freehand. So if this sounds like something that you are interested in, without wasting much of your time, let's head to the tutorial proper. So guys, this is the fabric we are going to be working with today, and this is a flower crepe and it's really thick and very stretchy. So I have this to be 2 yards. Now 2 yards can work for me, so if you're on the plus size, I would recommend you use 3 yards or 2.5 yards if your fabric is stretchy. So go ahead and fold. So we'll be folding the front pattern first. So guys, I have gone ahead to fold out the front pattern, and I'm going to explain to us how my folding is like this. Okay, now for you to know the amount of front, if you're cutting it separately, you're going to use your wideness of your A line to cut for the front. That is if you're cutting it separately. And before I cut, I folded inward 5 inches like this. So I fold inward 5 inches. Now this 5 inches is going to be serving as the interfacing, as I'm going to be cutting it together. Okay, so that is the folding you're seeing here. All right, I hope you understand. So guys, in getting our basic bodies now, we are going to be minusing 5 inches before we mark our breast point and our armhole. Now I'm minusing that 5 inch because this is an off-shoulder cowl neck dress that we're cutting. I hope you understand. So when I minus the 5 inches, I will mark 8 inches. Now this 8 inches is going to be our armhole, where we're going to be taking our armhole. Then I'll mark 10 inches. This is going to be our breast point. Please take note that I minus the 5 inch. Okay, now the waistline I'm working with is 15 inches. I will mark the waistline down here. Please also take note that I'm still minusing my 5 inch. This my 5 inch is still minused. Okay, now I'll pull this up. Now from here, I will now mark our hip line. So to get my hip line here, I'm going to come down by 8 inches. All right, I'll come down by 8 inches. I'll mark, and remember that the highest hip line you can have is 9 inches. Mine is 8 inches. So I still maintained my 5 inch that I minus. So in total, my hip line is 23. Please take note of that. Now from that our hip line, I will also come down by 7 inches, which is going to be our knee line. So we'll come down by 7 inches. We'll come down by 7 inches. I will mark. Then we'll go ahead and connect all these lines together. So if your cowl neck is not going to be an off shoulder, please, there's no need of minusing that 5 inches. You minus 5 inches. You can minus as much as 6 inches depending on how deep or how full you want your cowl neck to be. Okay, now after minusing all of that, we'll go ahead and get our gown length. I still minused my 5 inches. Please take note of that. So I'll mark 57 inches, which is going to be our dress length, and then I'll add extra 1 inch seaming allowance for folding, for hemming at the down part. So in total, we have it to be 58 inches. So pull this down. Now we'll go ahead and get our shoulder. Now my shoulder is 16 divided by 2 will give us 8 inches. We'll go ahead and mark the 8 inches down here. Now from that 8 inches, I will now connect it to meet our armhole, which is the second armhole, which is 8 inches. So you've seen it, I still minused it. All right, so from here now, the next thing we're going to do is to get my round bust circumference. My round bust circumference is 9 inches. I will place the 9 inches here. I will mark. Now I will add extra 2 inch allowance. Okay, so after adding the 2 inch allowance, we'll go ahead and connect it to meet that 8 inches and extend it straight line to meet the breast point. I don't want my my armhole to be too exposed. That is why I didn't connect it to the breast point. Okay, so I will get my waistline now. My waistline is 8 inches. I will mark. I will also add extra 2 inches allowance to it. Okay, so after getting our waistline, I will go ahead and mark our hip measurement. Now my hip measurement is 9.5. I will mark the 9.5 down here, and I will add extra inches, 2 inches seaming allowance. So I will go ahead and connect from our breast point. Okay, so please remember that I'm from here still maintaining a straight line. I will connect it to our waistline. Then from our waistline, we'll go ahead and connect it to the hip line. Okay, so I'll pull this up. I hope you can see this chalk. It's because of this chalk that I'm marking on the front pattern of this clothes for us to see it clearly. So I will connect it to meet the hip line. Okay, now we'll come to this our hip line here and take the measurements we have, including the allowance. Okay, so the measurements we have here is 11.5 inches. Okay, now I will take it to the hip line and minus 1 inch from it, so we'll now be left with 10.5 inches. I hope you understand what we just did here. Now from our hip line, we'll go ahead and connect it to the knee line like so. Okay, so after connecting it to the knee line, please, like I said before, I am cutting on the front of this fabric because of the chalk. I wanted us to see it clearly, but I don't know if you can still see it, but just pay attention, you understand. Now the wideness of what the A line we're going to be having is 15 inches. I marked 15 inches down there. Okay, now from this our knee line, we'll just be bringing our hands out, so just pay attention to how I'm connecting it. Can you see the way I'm connecting it? Now I've connected it to meet that 15 inches for the full length. So the next thing we're going to go ahead to do now is to go ahead and cut it out. So please go ahead and cut out. So just pay attention to where I'm cutting. You will see the chalk clearly. I am so sorry, I didn't even know that this pattern is not going to work, that the chalk wasn't really visible as I thought. That was why I was cutting at the front. So I will go ahead and cut. So after cutting it, this is what we have. So can you see it? So we'll go ahead and fold this now and place our back pattern. So guys, this is our back pattern folded into two. So we're going to use the front pattern to place on top of the back pattern in order for us to cut out the two together. Now in achieving our cowl neck, we're going to be placing our front pattern on the back pattern. Now you can either fold it in like this, cut out the cowl neck, and in folding it in like this, you want to make sure that you fold in from where your armhole cut stopped. All right, but for me, I am not going to be folding it in. Okay, so just pay attention. We're going to go ahead and arrange this properly. Now my round armhole circumference, I have it to be 5 inches. Okay, all right, now I will go ahead and arrange it properly. So just pay attention to how I will be arranging this. So after arranging it properly, we pick from this where our armhole curve stopped and pull it up. Did you see what I just did? So you will make sure that your back pattern starts from where this your armhole curve stopped. Please pay attention. All right, so in total, my armhole, the difference between the front and the back is 4 inches. Please take note. If you in achieving your cowl neck, you can either pull it higher, but for me, I'm going to be placing it directly on this where our armhole curve stopped. All right, so after placing it directly on top of the back one, the front one placing it on top of the back one like this, from where our armhole curve stopped, I will check the length of the difference between the front and the back. So you can either pull it all the way to this point, all right, or you can still stop at your armhole curve. So in essence, you can pull your cowl neck to start almost 6 inches. The difference between the front and the back can be 6 inches, it can be 7 inches. But please note that the higher the front pattern, the higher the difference between the front pattern and the back pattern is how deep the back side is going to be. I hope we understand that aspect. So after pulling it now, we'll go ahead and pin this down. So guys, I've pinned it down and this is what we have. So this is what I was trying to explain to us. Now in total, my own difference between my front and my back neck is 4 inches. All right, that is the difference between my front neck and the back neck inches. So my cowl neck is going to fall by 4 inches. So you can make yours to be 6 inches. You can make yours to be 7 inches. I think the highest you can do is 7 inches to avoid it exposing your cleavage. I hope you understand this part. So this is another method of how to achieve your cowl neck. So I will go ahead now and cut this out. All right. So this is another simple way to achieve your cowl neckline without you using the slash and spread method. Okay, so we'll just use it now to trace out the back pattern just the same way we have for the front. So guys, after cutting out the front and the back pattern together, we're going to go ahead and get the waist snatching. Remember that this cowl neck dress is going to be snatched. Now we'll come to the shoulder and minus our 5 inches in order for us to get our waistline, which is 15 inches. Now from this our 15 inches, we'll come upward by 1.5 inches. I will mark it down here, and then we'll see come down by 1.5 inches. All right, so we're going to be having 3 places where we're going to be passing our loop. All right, so after marking it now, the next thing we're going to go ahead and do is to notch it, to give it a notch so that we'll be knowing where we'll be placing our waist snatching rope from. So I will notch it down. All right, so this is the first notch. I will go ahead and notch it down like this. Okay, so after notching it, the front, this first one, we'll do the same thing for the other side as well. So this is what the 3 side looks like. All right, so this is where we're going to be snatching our waist from. So the next thing we're going to do right now is to go ahead and separate the back pattern and the front pattern. So after separating out the front pattern and the back pattern, I'll go ahead and keep the back pattern. Now this is what it looks like. Okay, so this is what our cowl neck looks like, and I'll also come here and give that 5 inches a notch so that I will know where I'm going to be attaching our stripes for the front, and that is also the 5 inches that we folded it in by. Okay, so I've notched it out, so I'll turn this over now. So this is what our cowl neck effect is meant to be looking like when we're done. So the next thing we're going to do, so this is the back pattern. The next thing we're going to do right now is to cut out the interfacing for the back neck. Now I want to take note that the back neck, we are not cutting it together because of we're going to be attaching some the rope for the back at that side. So guys, I also went ahead to cut out the joining because I want the interfacing for the inside to be really extended, so I went ahead to join. So this is the pieces we are going to be using for the stripes, that is for the sleeveless hand that we're going to be using. So I have that to be 1.5 inches. So first of all, fold this in like this. We'll fold this edge like this, fold the other edge like this, and merge the two together like this. This is how we're going to be achieving our loop and also the sleeveless arm we're going to be using. All right, so guys, I've gone ahead now to join the stripes. I've joined it, like I've stitched on them, and we have it to be one like this. Okay, now this is the one we're going to be using for the waist snatching, depending on how long you want the back one to be. And we also have these pieces as well that we're going to be using for the sleeveless hand, that is the striped hand that we're working with, and also for the other side. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is to fold this in. You can see that I'm also going ahead to join the extension that I wanted the front side to have. Okay, so from that 5 inches that we first came down by, that we gave a notch, so these stripes is what we're going to using for one of the hand, and this is the second one. So I have this to be 2. All right, now we'll pick one of the stripes like this and place it directly on that 5 inches that we gave a notch like this, and place it on top of it. Can you see what I just did? So when we place it down here, we arrange the armhole curve properly, and then we'll stitch on it down from this point to the full length. So the same thing, we'll do the same thing for this other side. You pick these stripes like this. Okay, after picking it, you place it on that 5 inches. That was the essence of that 5 inches that we notched, so that we'll know where we'll put the front stripes. Okay, so we'll stitch it around the armhole to this point. I will do this other side as well, and then I will bring it back. So guys, I've gone ahead now to attach the stripes, and this is what it looks like. So I've stitched it down, and this is what it looks like. So we'll go ahead now and turn this in out. So this is what it looks like at the front. Okay, can you see? So this is what it looks like. So the only thing left now is for me to iron it properly. So I have not ironed this, so I'll only advise for you to iron when you are working. I will see iron this out, and then this is that joining that we have at the front. Okay, so this is what the front pattern looks like. All right, now we're going to be attaching the back side. Okay, so I'll pick up the back side. Now this is the back pieces. Okay, now for us to know where we're going to be attaching the back stripes, we're going to open up this our back pattern like this and measure the full length to know what we have. So from this point to this point, we have this to be 23 inches. Now we'll divide into 2 like this to get the midpoint of the back. So this is the midpoint. I will go ahead and chalk it down here. So after chalking it down here, the next thing we're going to do is that from this midpoint, we'll come out by 4 inches to the left side, and then the same thing to the right side like this. So this 4 inches to be wide enough where you're going to be attaching the back stripes. Okay, so we'll pick up the front pattern and the back pattern like this and arrange it down properly. Now after arranging it down, what we're going to do right now is to get the measurements of our stripes. Now remember that we minus 5 inches when we were cutting. So that 5 inches that we minus, I will place my tape on this front side here on the stripe, and then mark down that 5 inches and then use it to fold it like this. Now this is going to be for the front. All right, so the remaining one, I will use it to place it on the back pattern. Okay, so in total I have the stripes length to be 14.5. So that 5.5 inch is what we're going to be using to be joining at the back. So I'll pick up the front side, that is the wrong side facing each other, and place it on top of the back side like this. Okay, so let me shift this so that you understand what we're doing. Now just pay attention to this other side here. This is the stripe we have. Okay, now this is the back pattern. I will flip it up like this. Did you see the way I turned it in? Can you see? This is it here. Please pay attention. This is the back. I'll flip it up like this and then place it at that 4 inches that we marked on at the back, and then I will pin it down. Now after pinning it down, this is what you're supposed to be having when you pull it up. Please take note. Can you see it? This is what you're meant to have when you pull it up. So you've seen the way I've placed it. Now also take note that the wrong side are facing each other. The wrong side of the fabric of the front and back are facing each other. So this is the back pattern. Remember, we do not cut the interfacing of the back together. This is the essence. Now place it on top of the fabric. We'll place this interfacing on top of our back pieces, and then we're meant to run a stitch on it from the beginning to to the end of the other side to this point. So I've gone ahead to attach it. So this is what it looks like. Can you see? So this is what our stripes looks like. So this is what you're meant to be having. So at this point, if you're not getting this result, I think you want to calm down and watch the video again. So what we're going to do now, we're going to pick up the front and the back, the right side facing each other like so. Can you see? Now we'll place it at this point and then pick up the back pattern and place it where that our armhole stopped. Can you see what I'm doing here? So this is where we're going to be joining it from that our armhole curve. So you've seen it. Now this is what it looks like clearly. Okay, so when I place it on top of this now, I will go ahead and trim out the excess. I noticed that there's some excess at the back side. So I will go ahead and place it properly, and then I will trim out the excess that the back has. Okay, so this is the excess I am talking about. So we're going to go ahead and cut it out. So after cutting it out, we arrange the front and the back properly like so. You want to make sure you arrange it down so you can see the distance between my back and the front. Okay, so that is the essence of why we placed our back pattern from that armhole curve. Now this is the notch where we did for the waist snatching. Now we'll pick our pieces. I'll measure the length of the rope, the loop hole we are going to be having. So I'll cut out 4 inches down. So I'll use these 4 inches to cut for the remaining ones. So in total, we are going to be cutting out 6 ropes. Okay. So we have this now to be 6. So this is 6 pieces like this. Now how we're going to do it, we're going to fold it in like this. Can you see the way I folded it? We'll fold it in together like this, and then place it in between the front and the back on that place that we notched. So this is the essence of why we notched down that side, so that we know where we're going to be placing it. So I will go ahead and place it and then pin it down. So I'll pin it down for all the stripes. Okay. So after pinning it down, we are meant to stitch on it. Okay, so we'll pin for this other side and as well pin for the other side. Okay, so guys, after pinning it, this is what we are expected to have. Can you see? So this is what we are expected to have at that side. So I will go ahead now and arrange this down again, and then this is ones I will use it for the other side. After that, now what we're going to do is to arrange the front, pick the front side and the back side together. Okay, front side facing each other, and then we're going to be stitching with 1 inch from this our armhole curve here. Okay, I will stitch it from 1 inch from this our armhole curve down to this our full length here. All right, so I'll go and close it and bring it back. So guys, I've gone ahead now to stitch it, and this is what it looks like. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do right now is to come to this our knee line and give it a notch, so that we can be able to iron it properly, and then we can be able to walk freely. Okay, so after notching it, now we're going to go ahead now and flip it over to the right side. But before that, I also went ahead to hem the side. Remember, we added 1 inch to the full length because of the hemming. So I'll go ahead and flip it over. So this is what we have. So this is also that waist snatching rope that we're going to be using for the waist. This is what it looks like. And then this is the cow neck effect. Okay, so like I said, if you want to achieve a very full cow neck, you can extend yours by 6 inches. And then for me, this cow neck was not really visible because this crepe is a very thick crepe. Now for you to achieve a very cow neck effect, it's required for you to use a silky fabric. And if you want a more full cow neck effect, I have a detailed tutorial on how to achieve another method of cow neck. All right, so this is what the stripes looks like with the back inset and all so this is what it looks like. Now this is what that stripes. So if you want your waist snatched, I will go ahead now and attach the ruche so that you will see what the back looks like as well. Okay, so I am lacing the back here, so you can either lace the back or you can choose to lace the front, whichever one. So this is what it looks like, and this is what it looks like at the front. So guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have watched this tutorial to this point, please do not forget to click on the subscribe button if you're yet to subscribe, and please do not forget to go green. Please do not forget to leave a comment. Please do not forget to like and share. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. See you guys on our next tutorial.